Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Church of Rod. Um, some of you might be watching from, or some of you might know, be on this channel from the Rod Pod. Some of you might see it for the first time. Not a lot of people are gonna see this right now, but um, the Church of Rod is a channel where I'm gonna put like a lot of my content. Um, One of my New Year's resolution was I wanted to be more consistent making content, so this channel is gonna help me. And one of those type of contents I'm gonna do is like I guess commentary videos, these are called. But yeah, I'm gonna get my commentary on the world. It's not gonna be podcasts, just me ranting and going on and stuff. Uh, this one I'm gonna do something called the five P's of the Black community. Now you might have heard five P's. It's a common saying. Five P's it is marketing and business, blah 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 blah. My piece is gonna be five problems because and this isn't gonna be to critique because I'm a black man, proud to be black. Uh, and I know a lot of black people, they get platforms and they want to just critique. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to critique. This is just me because I want to get better. This is, my ideas of how we need to fix to get better. And I'll bring up the list. Number five. Y'all might see number five. Uh, I should mention something. This I'm not going to just. This is gonna be like the video is gonna be for more in what the community needs to fix. Basically, I'm not going to be saying white people did this. Black people are one of the most disenfranchised groups to ever walk the earth, and I'm gonna admit that. But this is like what we can fix as a group together. But that is an issue. Just you have to wait and see why I put that on there. Just it's not blaming nobody. Just it's in case any non-black sees this. Number one, glorification of low-class culture. Now, we all know. I think pretty much all of us have been in a kind of discussion or debate, or whoever has like grown up to be more poverty adjacent, who has to eat the most struggle meals, who had to take showers out of the boil hot water to take a shower and stuff like that. And I guess eh, jokes are okay, but I think this goes past joking in my opinion. I think a lot of it gets glorified, like low class culture, and also that's the baby mama and baby daddy culture. That's low class culture. Uh, this gang violence and stuff. That's low class culture. Being ignorant in general. I put on the list that all these problems feed into one another. So you're gonna see use part. I think I put abandonment of education on there. Being ignorant. This is all low class culture that gets glorified. And you seen hypersexuality on there, which is next. It's all glorified, and because it's low class culture. This is what. And mm, I'm not classes. I'm a very left wing guy, so I'm not classes, but I was blessed to like come from a stable stable. I'm just kidding. But two-parent household. You know, I didn't. We weren't. I never had to sleep in a car. I never was like facing homelessness. I never felt like I'm gonna be homeless. Like I've always had a stable. And me and my sisters grew up in successful enough to like one of my sisters at college. Another one's a talented band student. I'm just a bossed up YouTuber. I'm just kidding, but yeah. So I'm not, and I realized how I was blessed because my parents they had to deal with those issues. So I'm not here to hate on any of those issues, but I'm saying that all the stuff I just named is low class culture, and that's just what it is. Low class and kind of high class, but that's another. And I also put some things on here. I'm gonna try to back up some of my facts. Let's see. Now, as y'all can see, this is a kind of list of the poverty rate in the U.S. as of 2020. Which I mean, the world has probably got worse since 2020, and the economy has. So, it's 12.6%. Uh, African American 19.5%, Hispanic 17%, white 8%. Native American, yeah, the most impoverished group, 23%. People with disabilities, 25%, which that's way too high itself. But second non-disabled group is us, African Americans, 19.5%. 8.5, there's like, I think, 50 million African Americans, 8.5 million of that is people in poverty. That's not to mention the children and, of multiple generations in poverty or adjacent to poverty. I mean, you just can't expect those people to just be like, oh man, I hate myself, I hate everything about it. At some point, if they're gonna, and as sad it is, they're gonna accept being. I mean, that's all they've seen. That's all they have to look back to and forward to is poverty, poverty, poverty. Um, I mean, that's just it's gonna be glorified, and then and the sad thing is, I'm not gonna say sad, but the truth of the matter, and this isn't just a black thing. This is a human thing. Low class, I'm not gonna say low class, lower people in lower economic classes, they have a lot more children to you know, people in middle class and higher class, maybe not higher class, because I don't know, probably. And because like, sex, that's one thing that's free to them, and they can you get pleasure from it, and you don't realize pleasure is secondary, and reproduction is, primary, which is like why a lot of people try to get sex education, in schools, but people kind of misconstrue that. But yeah, it's just go and I think that's probably a good segue into the next one, which is hypersexuality. Now, everybody and their mother has beaten the dead horse about, black fatherlessness, which is often, like I said, I come from a two-parent household, uh, and my dad and all his brothers are all in their child's life. My mom came from a two-parent household and just generations of two-parent household. Um, but so it's kind of, overblown, but it's not because, like I said, a large portion of us are poverty or poverty adjacent, and the sex leads to more babies, and you can't when and we all know how it is. There's a lot of people you have sex with a girl, and you mean having sex with a girl and then getting her pregnant is a lot different than deciding you want to spend the rest of her life with you. But it's so easy to do, just get her pregnant than it is to settle down and have spend a life, especially nowadays, spend the rest of your life with her. So but they don't, this is go back to number one, they don't, like, I really think this is something I kind of gathered, and because me and my sister, we all think the same from being in a, stable kind of middle class household. Because just to me, that's just simple. Like, and a lot of I have they're a lot of them come from parents with back in the day. Their grandpa had secret families, and then all those bastard children create more. Just have sex randomly, creating more bastard children, and then they're watching their mom. They're all being raised by their mothers, just watching. They all got half siblings watching their parents. Their mother get different men going in and out of lives, arguing with all these men. Like, it's not a healthy like that. You can't. People underestimate how important what a child sees growing up is going to affect them in adult years, and it's bad. But there's something, like I said, I'm not gonna beat the dead horse about fatherlessness, but there's something I do want to bring up that a lot of people don't talk about. When I should have had these already pulled up, but I'm gonna go pull it up. All right, I pulled this up. It's something I really want to talk about because, like I said, this is all, I'm the only son, so I have a good relationship with my mom, and I have two little sisters, so this is something that really is important to me, and it always will be important to me. And not just black women, but all women in general. But uh, this is about black women, but I really take violence against women seriously. A quarter of black girls will be sexually abused by the age of 18, and 20% of black women are survivors of rape. 35% of black women have experienced some form of sexual contact during their lifetime. 40. Look at this. That's nearly most women report being, black women report being coercive by age 18. Like, and that, I actually believe these is way higher than this one because it's too normalized. 17% of black women experience sexual violence other than rape by like this. Look at this. Higher rates of psychological abuse, including name calling, like, and of course, that's gonna definitely transition to LGBT because the community kind of has a homophobia problem. But look at this, more than 20%. Like, I'm a great reader. I'm a horrible speaker, which is crazy that I'm doing this, but so I hope I gave y'all a chance to read some of that. So this isn't just, about fatherlessness, about, baby who's a hoe and who's not a whore. Like this deeper than that. This is like you seen those stats? Y'all know sexual violence, like it's not just, oh, I got raped and it's just something I gotta get over. Like, you get over a bad injury, you get over, falling out with your friend, getting cussed out or something. That stuff has deep psychological implants. And you look at those numbers, think about how many women of our women are walking around like with that trauma in their brain. That and then you wanna wonder we don't have healthy, stable households. Think about like a lot of these women are probably growing up hating men and putting that on their son, and then their son are growing out hating women because of that, and then probably going to rape like this. These are deep cycles. Hypersexuality is deeper than this, and it's in our media. It's in our music. Like you, we have to take a like. And if you ever agree with me in some of these, maybe you don't, but if you agree with where I'm like what I listed or what I'm saying, then you have to take a step back and like really think about if we have these problems, which clearly the numbers back it up. We have to take action against these problems for our women. But number three, yeah. See, like I said, I can read and write like a motherfucker, but I cannot speak. And consumerism. We all know like fashion brands, these French and Italian, European fashion brands, cars. We know that's like, and that's the reason that it goes back to poverty and low class because everybody, people, poverty is deeper than just not having money. Like it's what you see, it's how you live. Like they don't. A lot of black people adjacent to poverty, they don't have people taking out money to make smart investments and then getting that money back. They see people taking out loans to survive and not being able to take out that loan, and so they just loans are something to spend. That because they see that growing up because they don't. That's just they have to survive. Like and just other poverty, but everybody has access to the media, so you watch these shows and you see what rich what's richness means, which is the fast cars, the fancy houses, the gold and silver and diamond, like, so that's why, like, and it goes back to part, like, that's just what they think it is because they don't know what wealth is, they don't know what real material wealth is. And I think it kills us because you know a lot of what we get on or we get money and then like we think the money just we get to hoard it and to spend it on these things that they don't even produce wealth for our children. Like we're just spending like just not passing wealth down to our children and our grandchildren, just hoarding it and spending it. Like we gotta stop this. We gotta stop it. That's right. They go the cycles of poverty, spending it on women. That goes to hypersexuality, spending it on women, like going and buying, basically buying whores, like buying IG whores. That's what they do, spending it on women. Like it's just it's not building material. Like some of them do. Then like people like Jay-Z, people hype him up because he's a crack dealer. Came to that. No, like no. They want to give it this game of exploitation. They want to exploit. That's also I should have said like capitalistic mentality. That's what I should put right there. Capitalistic mentality. It's just not wanting to build the community, wanting to just spend it, to give it back to the Europeans. And like I said, I'm not racist. I don't have any hatred to any group, but I'm just saying, as a black dollar spends like an average of 2 seconds in our pocket before we have to go and spend it. Not being self-sufficient, self-sustaining. We get money and we don't like, and everybody agrees we have problems, but black celebrities, they want to tell people we have like, oh man, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta get my spend. But like, I just feel like they don't tell people how to like. They should be putting the money back into the community and like building the community up so we have, you know, we can just. But they tell people like how to be individual. You gotta work, you gotta do this, you gotta grind, you gotta cut everybody out from just grind. You gotta be selfish and blah blah blah. Like no, a lot of people cannot play this game because this game was literally capitalism was built on our backs to oppress, well, not to oppress us, but our oppression was a big foundation of capitalism. You cannot play this game if you care about the black community. If you don't, then do fine. You down if you don't, then fine. But if you say you do, no, don't start this. You gotta, you know, build up. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta invest this. You gotta invest that. Help get us like let's build wealth where we can. Abandonment of education, and this is where I'm gonna bring up another thing here. This is from an article. I forgot what article this is from, but look down here. According to the NAEP, National Assessment of Educational Progress, 84% of black students lack proficiency in mathematics and 85% lack proficiency in reading skills. 84 and 85, 85%. Like that's not, we can't, this, there's a time, like during, pretty much in the civil rights era, education was, there's a big foundation of, put on education. And there's one thing I noticed around like a lot of older black people, education is really important to them. And I see, because they had to fight for education to be education because they knew how being important being educated was. And this goes back to, like I said, glorification of low class ignorant. I mean, I could bring up TikToks of teachers quitting, crying, saying, students are out of control. A lot of these are in black areas. Like we can't. And then we nowadays parents sided on their student side. When I got in trouble in school, my parents would never like they would always get find out from the teacher. I could say, oh, blah 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 blah, but and they believe the teacher was like they discipline me correctly. Nowadays, like, oh man, my baby didn't do nothing wrong, blah 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 blah. So emotional, they don't think logical because all the problems we named, the broken homes, the sexual violence, the like we had, then we're making a dumb cattle, and it's just, we you can't no a lack of education. We see a lot of in our media dumb people getting rich, and that goes to glorification of all that dumb people getting rich. But some of those dumb people are really talented musically or with sports. That's the reason those are like the main two options for us to get out. It's music or sports. But no, you can't be dumb. And obviously, we already have these bad, stereotypes against us. We cannot afford to be uneducated. We have to be more. We have to really take education seriously and take it into. That's something we have to strive. We have to fight for. Like we have to. We're not gonna vote for a politician if black education is not on the back on like on their issue list. We have to fight for it. Like that's important. And then they want us to be dumb and not educated, especially politically, not voting, easily misled. Because then, when they keep us dumb, why aren't black people getting hired? Oh, because they're just so stupid and incapable. This stuff like math. One thing in school, I never took math serious, and I wish I did because now, grown up, I realize math is like it's like working out your brain. Like doing math, it's working out your brain, and the smartest people are always gonna be good at math. One of my sisters is really like I always call her the smartest one in the family, and she's great at math. Math will make you smarter. Like math, yeah. If you're smarter, I I consider people who are good at like reading, history, like me. No, I was kidding. Wise, but people good at like math and science, I consider those people really intelligent. So we have to strive for it. And like recent years, it has. Like I'm glad, like the HBCU, like people are trying to go to HBCUs and build them. But I just feel like then you got the glorification, like they just want to go and do ignorant shit. You got why are black homecomings getting shot up so consistently, so often? Like no one ever thinks back, like, come on. Because people who shouldn't be there are there. It's not like people who aren't black, they just want to be there to do ignorant shit. They want to drink and, find see if they can prey on a cause girl, hypersexuality, prey on a cause girl. Like, no. White supremacy mindset. Now, like I said, I was gonna explain this. When I said this abandoned education, the glorification, this white supremacy is because, they see this higher stuff, higher, just normalcy as is white. They see, being proper as white, speaking well as white, being educated as white, being well read as white. Like certain things is white. That's white supremacy. They think, you gotta be violent to be, violence is and gang and being tough is black. That's literally white supremacy mindset. They think normalcy and good things in life are for white people and just negativities for black people. Like black people struggle meals is for black people, black people do this, like that's I'm one of those people, people always used to say I was kind of whitewashed. That was one of my biggest pet peeves because like I would just have like I have white friends, but that's from school and like my peers, but I really have only been around black people my entire life. And this is because, my antics, how I am. I guess I'm goofy, blah blah blah. But it didn't really bother me. Uh you can but that's all a part of it. Like you see like the finer things in life as just white supremacy, and this is why you spend money on European fashion brands and European cars and European this, and you don't think it to build within your community because you think you're victimized your whole by capitalism because capitalism is white supremacy. Which you got to realize that capitalism and white supremacy need one another to operate. And yeah, so you see, being educated as white, like you got to stop. The community will never grow, and some people will never not adopt that and just see past that, and they just simply have to be excommunicated from the community. That if you want them to grow, like I said, they're the ones coming to the homecoming, shooting it up. They're the ones getting on the media, making mockeries of us, dancing and twerking, putting baby daddies in jail, twerking like they're the ones making mockeries of us. They're the ones negatively affecting us. They're the ones stealing from looting stores. They're the reason, part of the reason we're getting uh followed around in stores. And it goes back to white supremacy. They also boost white supremacy by, acting as agents of white supremacy. And, we blame the CIA. The crack epidemic is a large part of it. Why? But it's time to move past the CIA and the CIA and the crack epidemic and just like change it. Like we cannot live in a system that is against us. They have to deal with our own brothers being against us too. And that's the final thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna sign off because I gotta go.